Hey everyone, I'm Austin. Welcome to the channel. This is my first video introducing SPUR Design Garage, which is a transportation and product design business that I'm building. I'm going to take you through the process of building it in future videos. Today I'm going to show you a few things that I've been working on for that, and then we're going to have some fun designing a Corvette SUV. This is nowhere near complete, but one of the things I'm doing to gain potential customers is to start building some sort of capabilities and services deck. So I'm doing that in Illustrator currently, just lining out the formats and figuring out what I'm going to put into the presentation. I have a couple freelance projects going on right now, ranging from transportation to footwear, but in the meantime, I'm working on a personal ATV project just to start demonstrating some of the capabilities that I have. This is kind of currently at the stage of after I've discovered some customer insights and started learning more about the brand that I'm designing for. And then I jumped into VR, into Gravity Sketch, and started laying out some interesting volumes that I thought I could start to then sketch on. So I might show a little bit more of that in the future. But this is where I'm at. All right, so let's dive into this Chevy Corvette SUV. I'm starting off with the Chevy Blazer. I think it's a pretty good base, but I'm going to end up lowering it and lengthening the hood just to give it more of that front engine sports car kind of feel. Why are we even doing this? There was a leaked image from the back of a CES presentation that GM gave, and the SUV looks suspiciously like a very sporty Corvette. This would kind of make sense. Ford came out with the Mach-E. There's now Rolls-Royce SUVs, Aston Martins, Bentleys, Lamborghinis. You know, and this trend probably started way back in the 80s with the LM002 from Lamborghini, but more notably, the Porsche Cayenne from 2002. I'm personally not a fan of everything being made into an SUV version. I'd rather see a uniquely SUV story, meaning it possibly couldn't be anything else. You know, one of the cars that comes to mind for me is the Ford Bronco that recently came out. I think it does a great job of doing something similar in the utility category. It's just such a distinct story. Getting back to this drawing here, trying to morph the regular Corvette SUV or Corvette into the grille space. Reworking it and morphing it until it kind of feels like it's matching the perspective and the angles that are being shown by the flattened surface that I created. The regular Corvette has a little bit of a concave section above the grille, so I'm adding that element a little bit more. One thing that I ran into with the Chevy Blazer is that the front is very tall and it doesn't give off this sporty feel necessarily that I want to capture with the Corvette. So ended up having to warp the picture underneath. Really trying to sharpen and lower that front fascia. Now the headlights are going to be a little bit tricky considering they're so slim and not really fitting for such a large front. Starting to make that panel feel a little bit more realistic at the front so that I can then put in the side vents, which we're definitely going to need on such a sporty vehicle. Just have to reshape them a little bit. You'll see me flip the canvas quite a lot in Photoshop or any program really, so that I can kind of see if the perspective is matching. Helps you see issues within the proportions, the overall shape, again, perspective especially. Here's where I start to enlarge the front end, making it feel as though there's a really large V8 up front. Starting to look into the details a little bit more now that we're getting the shape a little bit more aligned to what I was looking for. Some of these design decisions that I'm making are based on what I think would look good, but they're also based on that leaked image, trying to figure out exactly how that Corvette SUV may end up looking. Using the pen tool to go in there and start making door panels that match the pushed back greenhouse. It's kind of interesting, almost Y-looking headlamp in the leaked image. So I'm trying to figure out how I can start to incorporate that a little bit more into this headlight shape. Giving it a little bit of glow and that forward motion that makes it look like the front's gonna pounce on you. I actually made the choice of painting in the A-pillar just because that's a little bit more close to the Chevrolet Corvette feeling. This is where I tried to start to incorporate that vent that was in the Corvette. I was thinking maybe it would be in the front fender, but it ended up looking a little bit too complicated and not working well, so decided to get rid of it. This is one of my favorite parts coming up. Really gives it a sporty feeling. Gonna lower it. Gonna do a few finishing touches coming up here, just making the headlamp look a little bit more incorporated. Start to put in some overlay layers just to increase the contrast a little bit of the sketch. Has a little bit more drama. So let me know what you think about this Chevrolet Corvette SUV concept.